Thing really he could say at this 11th hour to wavering MPs?
Well, I think MPs take these matters very seriously, and his speech was important, both in setting out what he had achieved and what he was going to go on to achieve in terms of getting economic growth, dealing with the cost of living crisis, and ensuring we have more home ownership that has fallen behind in recent years. So it was an important and impressive speech, and I'm sure will have encouraged many MPs to support him.
You were able to listen to or hear what Lord Jonathan Sumption had to say. I know there's a lot of noise down where you are at College Green. It may have made it impossible. But he was essentially making the point that when it comes to the big test of personal and political probity and propriety, the Prime Minister has got it wrong and has been found out.
Look, I listened to Lord Sumption very carefully, who is a figure of great distinction and, as it happens, an old friend of my parents. So I admire him and respect him. However, he was falling into that classic trap of the great and the good, of basically saying the electorate got it wrong. Because I heard him say, when asked, hadn't Boris Johnson got a mandate in 2019, didn't people know what they were getting? He said perhaps they hoped it would improve. And this is, I'm afraid, the classic establishment condescension to the democratic system. The Prime Minister got a mandate of 80 votes. He got a mandate in 2016 to deliver Brexit, or the country at large gave a mandate to politicians to deliver Brexit. And those who don't like it, like Lord Sumption, are still resentful of Boris Johnson's role in this. And that, I'm afraid, is what it all boils down to.
Worried when you look at the comments from Secretary of State Nadine Dorries on, I think it was on Twitter, and it was a pretty personal attack on Jeremy Hunt, former leadership contender, and a man, people may see him as a little bit grey, but, an effective managerial politician, Jeremy Hunt. She described his duplicity, described him as inadequate. She said, you've been wrong about almost everything. You are wrong again now. Nadine Dorries is an emotive politician, and there's a lot of emotion, it would seem, in those comments. But is that not a foretaste of the sort of infighting and squabbling that may follow if this leadership process carries on for months?
Well, I think it would be very unedifying to have this process carry on for months. Why I think people should support the Prime Minister later on and finish this issue between 6 and 8 o'clock this evening. I mean, Jeremy Hunt is, I think, a distinguished figure within the party, but he lost last time round. And I think not getting the message from party members that they don't want him to be the leader is, from his point of view, a mistake.
You've said today that the Prime Minister only needs to win, and win by one vote, to put this to rest. That can't really be true, can it?
Yes, of course it can be true. If you win a test match over 5 days by one wicket, you've still won the test match. It still goes down in the books as being a win by one wicket. And if that's the test that decides the Ashes, you've won the Ashes. And you don't say, well, we only won by one wicket and therefore we must hand the Ashes back. So if the Prime Minister wins by one wicket, he's won.
Jacob Rees-Mogg, I think if we carried on with that, it would have become a very tortured cricketing metaphor, but we've